Welcome, it's the Close the Deal Show. I'm your host, Terrence McCray. And our motto is, the movement to succeed continues. Every week we bring you business information, tips, and insights from entrepreneurs, business professionals, and inspired individuals from the San Francisco Bay Area, as well as Los Angeles and beyond. The Close the Deal Show also features public announcements, Entrepreneur Week, and small businesses. And if you're looking for strategies to help you in business or educate the public, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining us today. Today, my guest is Sharon Bohman.
Bohman, yeah.
Wow, that is so, that's not as difficult as one may think, but in actuality, sometimes we always get tongue tied up, but that's how she has learned how to take on what a lot of people are always doing, a career path. And in her career path, she's going to sit up here, she's going to talk about real estate. So what I would like to give you all an understanding of who this woman is, let me give you a little background of Sharon. Sharon is a licensed in 2002, has worked in the real estate industry as a loan originator, property management, and associate realtor. So to the viewers of the Close the Deal Show, to the corporate viewers of the Close the Deal Show, but most importantly for those that tuned in to acquire a tip and an idea and learn some strategies in real estate, welcome Sharon Bohman. Welcome to the Close the Deal Show.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, and you know what? You're not the only one. It's funny. Everyone has a difficult time with the last name. So I usually say Bohman, even though the emphasis is on the like the second ho, so it's Bohman.
Okay.
But everywhere I go, people look at it like, how do you say that? So don't let it bother you.
Definitely.
Yeah.
One of the things that I found interesting is they say the California Association, and that's who I'm referring to as far as realtors, reports that sales of home prices between 501 million rose about 15.5% on average. Sales under 300K dropped strongly, minus 14.7%, and homes above 2 million dropped 3.2%. Yeah. Condo prices rose to 473,000. So is the market moving in the way that people didn't expect after Bahama left office?
Well, here's the thing. So the market, you've got various ways that the market is assessed. You've got on the national level, you have on the state level, you have regional levels, then you have micro levels, so even within the East Bay, what's happening in Oakland may be different than what's happening in San Leandro, even though they're right next to each other.
Okay.
So in terms of those statistics, they're talking about sales in general of specific price ranges. So now if we look at the state of California, and even the way real estate is done here in Northern California, it differs from how it's done in Southern California, even though we are each licensed. Those of us who have our real estate license have the ability to sell anywhere throughout the state of California. But you do need to understand the market you're in and how they do their real estate business within that market. For example, we're here in San Francisco right now.
Correct.
San Francisco uses different real estate forms for their transactions than we do in the East Bay. So in the East Bay, we're using the standard California Association of Realtors forms. San Francisco has some very special forms that they use. So it's important to understand that if you're from another area and you're looking to do a transaction in San Francisco, you need to contact that Association of Realtors to make sure you're using the proper forms. Now, that being said, with these statistics, it's talking about the movement of sales. What we've been finding is that things have been pretty steady. It's really hard to say if it's a buyer or a seller's market. It's kind of in the middle. It really will depend on the area you're looking in. And then here you're looking at the breakdown according to price. So it makes sense that that middle price from 500,000 to 1 million is your highest sales, because that's within the price point that most people are able to afford within the more urban areas of the state. And that's where those price points are going to be in the metro areas, like in the San Francisco Bay Area or in the Los Angeles metropolitan area, or when you get down into San Diego area. And even to some degree, Sacramento is seeing a spike in some of their prices. So even though you can still get some really good prices out in the Sacramento and Central Valley areas.
So, what motivates someone wanting to become a realtor?
Well, the main thing is it really depends on that person. I always tell somebody, so here's a scenario of what happens. If I am working, sometimes I've been working with someone, they've been exploring real estate, and then eventually they'll come to me and they say, you know what, I'm thinking about getting my real estate license. I'd say for the first thing a person wants to do is determine what their why is. Why do you want to get into this business? A lot of people from the outside looking in think that, oh, I can get into this business, I can make a whole lot of money fast. And there is a lot of money that can be earned in the real estate business. However, it doesn't come easily. It requires a lot of hard work, and it depends on, how you set up your business and who you align yourself with in terms of the right broker and then the right affiliates such as lenders and other partners that can help you with putting together your business in such a way that it runs really well.
So, when you started off in 2002, what kept you fully aware of you wanting to do this? What kept you aware?
What I liked was the freedom to be able to run my own business on my own schedule. At that time, I had two small children. So I had an 8-year-old daughter. Well, see, 2002, yeah, she was 8. And then I had an infant son. He was born in 2002. In fact, when I got my license was a few months before he was born. So the ability for me to be able, and when I started, that's when I was a loan originator. So when you're working with loans, it doesn't require as much time outside of your house, if you have a home office, as being a realtor does. As a realtor, or as a real estate agent, because there's a distinction between those two terms too we can talk about. I have to be available to go and show property, or if I'm listing a property, I need to be available to go and deal with getting that property ready for sale, hosting open houses. And so as a mom, trying to balance that with two young children, working on the loan side was really useful. And so that was what I liked, was the flexibility to be able to work on my own schedule. I could work from home, even with an infant, and still be able to get my work done on my own time. So that was what my why was back then.
Do you recall your first ever home you sold?
Yes.
And what do you remember the most about that experience?
I went out with any home that I've sold, and with that experience in particular, just being able to help people when people come in. So I was hosting an open house. The people came in, they fell in love with the house, and so being able to help people find that home and navigate the process of the home buying process, that's the rewarding part, because then at the end of all of it, when you've helped them to get over some of the hurdles that will typically pop up, it's a very rewarding experience. It feels very rewarding to know that you've helped someone attain a goal that they've had for themselves.
So when you had helped them attain that goal, right? How did you pursue continuously working in your field? Was there ever a turning point in your life where you say, this is not moving fast enough?
Well, interestingly, so back then, and I won't go too deep, but back then I had some challenges with my marriage, and then I began going through a divorce process, which if you've ever been through a divorce, it's, it can turn your world upside down.
I haven't, but
yeah.
I definitely can understand.
Yeah, and so I found myself getting back into the workforce right around 2005, and I maintained my license and did things on the side, and I was working with, I kind of moved from one broker to another, trying to find that right fit, because a big part of your success in this business is aligning yourself with the right broker, making sure, one, that their culture is one that fits yours, and two, they have the resources that are going to really help you to grow your business. And so then, back then I had made the transition over to real estate in 2004, and then I had moved to a few different brokers, and then when I began, going through divorce proceedings, I needed to have a regular paycheck. And so I went back into the corporate world for a couple of years. And then when I came out of the corporate world and thought, I'm going to go back to real estate in 2007, I hit it right at the point when the market began the downturn. Fortunately, I had gotten on with a broker who had a property management company. So not only was I working with that broker in real estate sales, we were managing over 350 properties at the time. And so that enabled me to maintain momentum working and, dealing with the property management side of the business. So that's the one thing about real estate. There are a lot of different aspects of real estate that someone can get into. So I know a broker who all they do is property management.
So when you got your license, right, how
Mm-hmm.
did you develop a strategy in making multiple sales and meeting a certain quarter, monthly or quarterly?
It's really about setting up your business plan. And a lot of times, and this is at least where I started, and this is where a lot of coaches and trainers that you'll meet will also talk about starting, and that is really establishing your database and really, engaging your sphere of influence. So those people who already know you, who already trust you, you have that database set up, and you need to let them know on a regular basis that you are in real estate. Now, back then, pardon me, Facebook wasn't as big. We didn't have social media on the level that it is now back in 2007, 2008, or even especially 2003. So it was more direct mail. It was really, making phone calls, perhaps emailing people. Today, with social media, it's a lot easier to engage with people through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn. These are tools that a lot of real estate agents are using in order to stay top of mind among their sphere of influence, and then especially as they go out and begin to engage new prospective clients. So, but that sphere is the one. If you really, you think about it, everyone knows other people.
Correct.
And so if you establish that trust with that person and you stay top of mind so that they remember when the conversation about real estate comes up, and it comes up often, they'll be, oh yeah, my friend so and so is a real estate agent. And so that's the main thing, is you're constantly wanting to be engaging, talking to people, staying top of mind with the people within your sphere of influence, and getting out and meeting new people. That's our main job, is generating more potential prospective business, and that means getting out in front of people, talking to people, engaging with people, networking, engaging in different groups and activities that will also enable you to make new contacts and grow.
So it sounds like to me everyone is a potential customer.
Yeah. Well, everyone needs shelter, right? Right.
Absolutely.
Now, some people may rent, some people may buy, but um, even with people who are renters, there are times at some point where they're going to buy. I've, in the last year, sold homes to two couples who were over 60, and it was their first home purchase. Up until that point, they had always rented. But then they were like, okay, we're retired now. We want a home of our own. We don't want to pay someone else's mortgage. So people who are even renting, there comes a point for a lot of those people where they decide they want to make that transition to home ownership. But that, even still, they may not be at a point where they're ready to buy right now. But guess what? Maybe they have a coworker who's going to be looking to buy, or maybe their boss is going to be looking to buy. You don't know who that person knows, and that could become a source of a referral for you.
Well, one of the things we like to do always on the show
Mm-hmm.
is to get experts like yourself. When you're sharing what you do
Mm-hmm.
and you do it so well, could you share with our viewers, because a lot of people tune strictly in to learn new ideas and learn new tips.
Mm-hmm.
What steps did you take to convince this 60-year-old couple the reason why they should buy the home from you?
Well,
You don't have to give all the tools up, just one or two.
here's the beautiful thing. Now, by just being authentically who you are, when you have relationships with people and those people trust you, they know they can trust you, you don't have to convince them to buy from you. So that the first couple was a couple that was referred to me by a friend that I've known for about 15 years. And as soon as she heard, so, because there were, without going into the whole story, there was a period where I took a break from real estate from 2010, and then I re upped my license in 2017. So I'm now in process of rebuilding my business. But as soon as she heard that I had gotten my license again, she's like, "Oh, my brother, he and his wife want to buy a house." And she put me in contact with them, and they worked with me solely on the trust that they had of their sister's referral. And then once they met me and we sat down and they liked how I dealt with them, because they had been working with another realtor prior. What they didn't like with that particular realtor was that they felt that she was just trying to get them into anything, and she wasn't hearing what it is that they wanted and helping them. She just said, "Okay, this is the number you qualify for. All right, look at this." He's like, everything she showed them was a fixer, kind of really worn down, and I'm like, we're retired. We don't have time to be trying to do all this remodeling and everything. And so I said, well, have you considered a new house, like new construction? And so that's what we found them. So we found a new construction home that was in their price point. They got to choose the lot. So they bought the dirt and they watched the house being built, and they were the first people. They're the only people who have ever lived in that house, and they absolutely love it. It's a gated community. It turned out to be an area. It's in Rio Vista, which is in Solano County. It's an area where he grew up working near the Air Force Base. So for him, he had a lot of fond memories working with his dad in that area. And so for him, all those pieces came together. And I check in with them from time to time, and they absolutely love it up there.
So you do follow-ups with your customers?
Oh, I end up in friendships with my customers, so we constantly keep in contact. In fact, his birthday's coming up. Oh gosh, yeah, his birthday is this weekend.
Okay.
And so yeah, I keep in contact with them. I'll shoot a text out. I may send a card. I'll give a phone call and just check in, because it's a relationship business. And so there's a couple ways you can, if you're considering real estate, and really this applies to any business. When you're talking about client retention and development, it's really about building those relationships that are ongoing beyond the sale of the property. The other couple that was over 60, they had owned in the past, but it had been many years since they had owned, and they were just getting married, so they each had respectively owned their own homes. But and for them, this was like buying their first home again. It was like they had been renting for several years, and in their case, we found them the house they were looking for, and they needed something much larger. They also moved out to the Central Valley. 10 months after they moved into their home, their water heater burst. Now, one thing that I do for my clients, not everyone does this, I provide every one of them with a home warranty. Because if anything happens in that house that first year, I give them a 1-year home warranty, and then they have, it's covered. They only pay the $75 fee, and then they can get stuff fixed, and then any other things that aren't covered, they would have to cover, but it saves them money.
Do all realtors provide that same service?
No. No, it's an optional thing because it's a cost. It's not cheap. So the condo that I'm selling right now, I'm offering as the listing agent a home warranty to whoever buys it. It's going to be about $550 for that. But to me, it's worth it because we're leaving all the appliances, and it gives that buyer the peace of mind that if this washer goes out or the refrigerator or something happens, and they have the home warranty protection that they can call on. That's just a gift I opt to give to my sellers, or to my prospective buyers, my clients, so that there's that peace of mind that if something does happen within this first year, it's covered. So for them, their water heater burst, it flooded their garage, and they were able to use that home warranty. Well, the first person he called when that happened was me. I'm his realtor. He's been in the house for 10 months already. But he called me, and so I helped him coordinate making sure that, he was able to locate all the services he needed, because he had to find a contractor to come and replace the drywall, because the warranty company only covers the appliance. It covers the water heater. But as far as replacing drywall that was damaged, then you have to bring in other contractors. But the point there is that, yes, I maintain that relationship beyond the transaction. I'm not transactional. I'm relational. So even if they have to call me, I have another client I've got to follow up with it today. They just closed in December, and then they got a letter. It was a new construction. They got a letter from the county saying, "Hey, your taxes are due." And they're like, we didn't even own the property when those taxes were due. So it turned out the builder didn't pay the taxes in December.
Wow.
So we're dealing with the title company now. So they called me. I said, send me the letter. I contacted the title company so that we can make sure that gets taken care of. So I don't just say, oh, no, deal's over, it's done. It's like, no, it's a relationship and it continues. And that's another way that you end up getting referrals. When people feel that they're cared for and taken care of, they will refer business to you.
Well, it sounds like to me a lot of reasons why your sales are so successful is your character. And if there were two other words, because I already thought of one, honesty. If there were two other words to describe you for people to really get to know you who don't even know you that's watching this show, what would it be and why?
Well, it's actually in my tagline, and it's competence, integrity, and care. So you want someone who is going to be competent and do the job well. You want someone who is going to operate in integrity. So I have this condo I told you I just put on the market. It hit the market on Tuesday.
And where's this condo at?
It's in Hayward near Chabot College. I get an email that same day from a cash buyer who's trying to lowball me on the offer price by $75,000. And he said that if my seller was willing to take that, he'd let me work with him. It's like, well, no, I told him I'm not going to work with you. If you want to make an offer, get an agent and have them make an offer because I represent my seller. That speaks to integrity. What I'm here to do is represent the seller and to make sure that their interests are covered and that I get her the highest and best price for her condo. It's not about, me trying to get a bigger commission because a buyer is willing. That speaks to integrity. You want someone that's looking out for your best interest first. And then and care. I really care about the people I work with. So that's the other word that I typically have. And so those are the three main words I would give.
So this is your website. Mm-hmm. And I'm looking at these properties. Are these all the properties that you are selling right now?
No. So those are stock images. Our company provides us with a website. I used to have my own custom website, but when I made the move to this company, they provided us with our own website. So I basically use their template. And so these are the stock images that actually are displayed through that image.
And what is your website?
My website, okay, so I'll give this one. It's Sharon Bahoman .bhhsdrysdale.com. So it's my brokerage's website. So I have a SharonBahoman.com, but I haven't directed it to this website yet because I just put my other website down. I still have that domain, and I just have to work with my domain host in order to transfer it to this website. So that's on my list of things to do.
Yeah, this is some nice views of some places. Have you had the opportunity to visit any of these places and sell them?
These places, no. Again, those are stock images. But I'm trying to think of what site. My old website, I should have, if I had kept that up, then you would be able to see the homes that I've sold. They would have been listed there. But I do sell throughout the Bay Area and Central County region. I'm based in Castro Valley, which is, central Alameda County. And then because Bay Area pricing is where it is, it's pretty high. I've worked with a lot of buyers who are relocating to the Central Valley. So I've sold in Sacramento, I've sold in Newman and Ceres, Rio Vista, San Lorenzo, Hayward. So I sell around the area, but really I go where my buyers need to go. So some of them want to move out of area, some of them want to stay in the area. So it's really going to be based on what their budget is, how much they are able to get as far as a mortgage, if they're going to be getting a mortgage. And then we look for what's going to fit the needs of that family.
Right now in the market, would you encourage people to become a realtor?
Again, there's got to be that why. A lot of people look at the real estate business, they think it's a really easy job. It's a lot of hard work, and people need to understand. I mean, there may be certain, companies that may be paying a salary, but by and large, you're an independent contractor, so you're not an employee. You do not receive a salary. You work straight commission. And so you have to make sure that you have enough money in reserve to carry you through the down months. And you've got to be willing to get out there and do the work to build your business.
Sounds like you've definitely built your business quite some well.
I'm working on it. It's still a work in progress, so it's It's a process. One of the big things I would say, if someone does decide to get their real estate license, and again, you can speak to a variety of different realtors, and people will take a different approach to the business depending on where they decide to put their focus. The most important thing once you get your license is selecting the broker you're going to work with. And don't I recommend not just jumping to the first broker that you receive a postcard from, or that friend who says, hey, my uncle has a brokerage. Go out and interview different brokerages in the area where you want to focus your practice, and then see how the culture of that particular brokerage fits you, and what tools and resources they have available to help you build your business.
What three questions would you ask a broker?
Um, the first question I would want to know is what resources they have for me in order to build my business. So, the broker I'm with now, one thing I like is that I can get coaching initially from my manager. She's willing to do that with me. So if I need someone, holding me accountable and just keeping me on task, that's not something you'll get at every brokerage. Or some brokerages are going to charge you a fee or want a portion of your commission. So that's something that, what kind of support can I get as I come into the brokerage? And it really depends on where your level of comfort is and your level of experience. Coming back in after being in real estate from 2002 to 2010, and then coming back into 2017, where everything is digital now. Back then, we still worked with a lot of paper. So getting up to speed with all the new technology, having a company that has technology available to you, and then has the training available to help you to make sure that you understand contracts properly. You join the local association, and that's where you become a realtor. So you're not a realtor until you actually join the National Association of Realtors, and that generally comes by joining a brokerage, joining the local association, which then gets you membership in the California Association of Realtors and the National Association of Realtors. There is a lot to the business that I think people don't understand from the outside looking in, and so you really want to do your homework and make sure that it's a direction you want to go, so that you understand what's going to be involved for you in order to really be successful in the business, because there are a lot of people with real estate licenses that aren't doing anything at all.
Well, Sharon, I want to thank you not just for coming on the show, but for coming on the show, sharing your insight and your tips, as well as why you got back into realtors
Yeah.
in the business.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on the show.
All right. I hope the information was useful.
Before we close this deal, be looking for the show I did with local weatherman at ABC, Spencer Christian, coming real soon, and an up-and-coming show I'll be doing in Los Angeles with HR1. If you have suggestions, questions, or even want to apply to be a guest on the Close the Deal show, please reach out to www.theclosethedealshow.com. San Francisco Bay Area viewers, you can find us every Monday night on cable Comcast, on Channel 29, locally, as well as online 29.SFC.TV. Worldwide, you can find the Close the Deal show on YouTube. Just type my name and click my picture, Terrence McCray. Please subscribe, like, and comment on your favorite episode. Take good care, everyone, and don't forget, find the right connection and close the deal.